indicate that you're able to hear me, because the network is quite bad. So maybe you can write in the messages if you're able to hear me, if I'm audible. Okay. Thank you very much for your response, Doc. Okay, thank you. My name is Stella Nyirongo. I'm a BSc Nurse, and I'll also be the one that is going to be guiding you throughout this meeting. Yes. So before we can start, let's get to interact and get to know ourselves. Maybe we introduce ourselves, just like I have done, with your names, what you do, where you're from, so we get to interact nicely with each other. You can unmute yourselves while introducing yourself.
You can just point at random, and those who will be available can go ahead to introduce themselves. Since maybe we'll not cover everyone, but since we're few right now, it's then possible for everyone to introduce themselves.
Okay. So let's begin with Madam Sarah. Please introduce yourself.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Sarah Kasonde Mtale. I'm an adult educator by profession. At the same time, I'm a mental health advocate. I run an organization called the Warrior Women. We look at mental health in women. Thank you. I hope you're able to get me.
Okay, thank you very much for your introduction. Yes, we're able to hear you. Can we have Madam Doris?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Doris Mwanza. I'm a student nurse. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And also, can we have, I can see a male, is it Mr. Joseph? Please introduce yourself. Okay, seems he's nowhere to be seen. How about Kathy?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kathy Chisulo. I'm a law student at NIPA. I'm also a mental health advocate and a founder of NIPA Mental Health Community. Thank you.
Okay, I think for the sake of time, we can begin with our meeting. All of you, you're welcome. Feel free to contribute and add on. Yeah, so we're here to help each other and also encourage each other when it comes to dealing with a number of mental health issues. So our topic of discussion today is healing from heartbreak. So we're going to discuss and interact in depth about how best we can heal from a heartbreak. So I'm sure we've all been in relationships and we have encountered a number of heartbreaks, some of them that were bad, and we felt like we could never move on from them and whatnot. Yes, so with me, I think I will just share a backstory of my own experience and also tell you guys about how I managed to overcome the depression and the mental health issues I had at the time. Yes. So with me, okay, I'll just make the story brief because it's very, very long. So I'll just like say the important parts of my story. So with me, I was in a relationship with this man for like 4 years from the time I was still in school. So we did it for 4 years up until last year when I'm so sorry for that. Yeah, up until last year when I discovered that I was pregnant. That was around March. So I fell pregnant and I was in my final year of school. Remember I said I'm a BSc nurse. So I was in my final year of nursing school. So when that happened, I was quite afraid of how I was going to like inform my mother and the rest of the family. I felt like I disappointed them. I was really down. So I contacted the man that was responsible. I informed him about
the network is breaking. I don't know if others can hear me, or maybe it's just Madam Stella's network that's bad. Are others able to get me?
Yes, we can get you. I can get you either.
Okay, perhaps her network is breaking. Let me just check in with her if she's able to. Maybe she thinks she can be able to speak and we're hearing her.
exams, cleared them, and then I couldn't sit for my licensure
Stella,
exams.
Sorry, we lost you a bit.
Okay.
Yeah, we were just saying that you were about to inform the man, and that's when we stopped hearing you. Now that's when you're back.
Okay, so I should go back to when I informed him. So I said when I informed him, he didn't take it very well. I don't know why. Yeah, then he began to, treat me bad, disrespect me. He was cheating here and there, never respecting me or my opinions. Like whatever he did or whatever I said didn't matter. And also, I remember there was a time him and I had a confrontation. I think I was like 5 weeks pregnant. We had a confrontation, and then he ended up squeezing my belly, and I began to bleed. So he didn't care. I don't know what he was trying to achieve. He didn't care if I thought I was, okay or yeah. So after that, I informed my family. My mother was angry and all, just like every mother would. Yes. So after that, this man came home, paid for marriage. He said he wanted to marry me. He paid for marriage, and I felt okay, at least this is a starting point. He denied me, and at least he wants to be with me. And I was also sidelining the fact that he wasn't treating me well, he wasn't being respectful. So I think the only thing that was on my mind was I don't want to raise my child outside wedlock or outside marriage. I wanted to raise my child with her father and all. So I didn't really care, or I didn't really think of the consequences of what he was doing to me. He was damaging me slowly. So it reached a point where this man mistreated me and put me into depression while I was pregnant. I even started Googling how to get rid of a 6-month-old pregnancy. That's how bad it was. I felt so awful, so bad about myself, and I'd lost weight. I had lost weight because I was thinking too much. I wasn't eating, and I had severe morning sickness, all those things, but he could care less. Fast forward, I cleared my exams, last semester exams. I was supposed to sit for my licensure exams in August. I failed because of the pregnancy, of course. I tried to do tuitions for November exams. I failed still because the pregnancy was really taking a toll on me, so I couldn't even focus or study. I would forget easily. And then I just said, okay, I think let me just give myself a break. I can do this thing after I give birth. And still, even after that, this man continued misbehaving, cheating on me. These ladies would even disrespect me, talk to me anyhow. He would allow them, of course. So after that, it reached a point where I gave birth. Yeah, I gave birth by a cesarean section. And after that, that's where now the whole drama started. He started to avoid me. Since I'm currently staying with my grandma. Because of the baby issue, and my parents are in Eastern Province, Chipata, that's where they stay. So for now, I'm just with my grandma until I get my license, then I can move out. Yeah, so I after my baby was born, we came back home, and then he started misbehaving again, and all these people he was misbehaving with were his work colleagues, all of them, and they knew about us. They knew me. Yeah. So, fast forward in March, I started seeing, these very bad tendencies, these bad traits, where he would, he would stop calling me, the normal routine, like he would stop coming to see the baby, and I was wondering why. I kept asking, what's the problem? And he would always shout at me and just, try to be angry, try to start an argument so that I shouldn't talk to him. So one time I was like, this is too much. I think something must be going on, So one time he came to see the baby, and then I was like, today is today. I must do this whether I like it or not. I don't care whether we fight or what, but I will do it. So what I did was I grabbed his phone from his pocket and then ran to the bedroom, checked, and then all my suspicions were true. Again, he was cheating with a work colleague. And with that work colleague, he kept telling her to say, no, me and Stella broke up when she was still pregnant. She's not my wife. I never paid anything. I only paid for damage. I don't want to marry her. My family doesn't even like her. In fact, if anything, I'm even going to get I'm waiting for my baby to grow, so I take my baby away from her. All sorts of things, So I confronted him, and then he agreed. He said, yes, I'm cheating, and I just want us to go our separate ways. Wow. So I was really depressed. I was
I think her network is a bit bad. Just give her a little bit of time. She should be able to join back, and we'll let her know where she ended.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry about that. Are you guys able to hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So After that, he began to like persuade me into getting pregnant again and all. So I said no, I can't do that. One child has brought us enough problems and we can't. Can you hear me? It seems like there's a network issue.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. So I said one child has brought us enough problems and I'm not stupid for me to give in again. I'm not going to do that. So after that, the only agreement we had was I'll allow him to see the baby. And bear in mind, my mom said she doesn't want to see him ever. So I just said, okay, at the end of the day, I'm an adult and this is my child. I can make decisions based on what I feel is right. He still remains the father of my child, even though him and I didn't work. So I gave him that platform. I accommodated him and I allowed him to be seeing the child, supporting her and all. Bear in mind that I'm capable of supporting my child with or without him. So me allowing him being a part of our lives is just for him and my baby to bond, nothing else. And I had already made peace with the fact that, okay, we are done. There's nothing more that's there. But then during this period, I just realized to say, this man, he's very disrespectful. You can imagine that, he asks me to see the baby. Can you hold on? So sorry about that. Yeah, he asks me to see the baby and I take the baby over and guess what? He's flirting with his girlfriend in my presence. I'm just like, what? This is some manner of disrespect that I'm not going to tolerate. So I told him off. I said, you know what? I am not going to allow you to continue tormenting me. I've been trying to move on, to heal, and I have respected you enough that I allow you to see the baby. I never insult you. I never say anything bad. Even just owing to the fact that you hate me, like you broke me, you made me go crazy to a point where I almost committed suicide. But then I still have the heart to accommodate you, but all you do is disrespect and torment me. So from today onwards, I do not want you to contact me, call me, or send me any money for this baby. So that's how the conversation ended. And since that time, this person hasn't really called or texted or tried to do anything. And I'm happy because I feel relieved and I'm not receiving any more disrespect and any more torment from him. So what am I trying to say? Like in life, we can encounter a lot of bad things that make us feel like we're not worth it, and you look down on yourself, and then you begin to have this, self-pity, and whereby you sit by yourself and you just start thinking, Nisha, what's wrong with me? Like you ask yourself all those questions, like, is there anything wrong with me? What have I done to deserve all these things? But one thing I can say is, everything that we encounter, everything that happens for a reason, and God has allowed it to happen for a reason. And for me, when I reached a point where I felt like I wanted to commit suicide, I felt like I couldn't breathe, I began to hate my baby. I would shout at my baby. Sometimes I would watch her cry. She's crying, and I just stood there just looking at her. I'm like, you know what? You are the reason that I'm in this mess today. I would always tell my baby that. But then I just realized, I'm like, if I continue on this path, I'm going to be a terrible mother, and my child is going to have to heal from having me as her mom. Like, I'm responsible for her well-being, and I must protect her at all costs. And what did I do? I rushed to therapy. I said, I need therapy. I need somebody to talk to. Because if I do not get this therapy, I'm gone. Like, I was thinking of the worst case scenario. I kept on, blaming my child, blaming myself. I felt ugly. I felt unworthy. I was like, no, this person will not make me be this type of person. First of all, this child is innocent. So I must seek therapy and, just do what I can to be a good mother, a better person, a good mother to my child. So I went for therapy, and I've been doing therapy for I don't know how many months now. I've even forgotten. I don't know how many months. And I would say it has been very, very helpful. It's been very helpful to me. I feel relieved. I feel lighter. I don't feel bitter. I don't feel angered about anything. And I've just made peace with it, that everything that happens for a reason. And probably God is just trying to, save me from something that I'm not seeing. Because looking at the fact that him and I tried so many times to fix our issues, but we still came back to a point where we couldn't just handle each other. We couldn't stay in one place. And trust me, today, I thank God that this thing didn't work. I thank God that him and I didn't end up getting married, because I have now seen that I would have lived a very miserable life. And I'm grateful that God allowed it to happen this way. And I'm also grateful to Dr. Ndengi, who has been of great help to me. He's seen me through the worst. I would text him or call him anytime I feel down, and he's been there. And trust me, I feel very good about myself. I'm confident, and I know I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. He helps me read the Bible. He sends me these, YouTube channels for, worship, and everything. And I'm really, really thankful. So, for me, what I would encourage anybody who is going through a heartbreak right now is, do not feel alone. If you feel you are reaching the dead end and you don't know what to do, please reach out. Reach out to anybody that you feel can hear you. Reach out to anybody who you feel will not judge you, and just open up. Tell them how you feel. If you feel you need therapy, please go for therapy. And also, please, one thing I have learned through this journey is learn to feel all your emotions. Do not suppress them. If you feel like that day you wake up in a mood where you want to cry, you feel down, please do cry. Just sit, maybe lock yourself up and cry, let it out. That is going to help you, because if you keep suppressing them, you will not feel any better, and you'll just be making things worse for yourself. If that day you wake up and you feel like, I feel a little bit down, I want to talk to somebody, call your best friend. I don't know, maybe if you have your mom close, if you have a very close relationship with your mom, talk to them. That way you'll feel better. So always remember to reach out when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel you can't do it anymore. Yes, I think that's all I can say. I don't know, maybe if we have some questions or some contributions. Yes. Also, maybe Dr. Ndengi, if you have something to say, you can add on. And also, I'm leaving the floor open to all of you for some contributions. And if you want to add on, if you want to subtract, let's get interacting. Thank you.
If you have anything to say, you can raise your hand and you can unmute yourself and contribute or ask a question. Sarah, you can go ahead.
Hi, Stella. First of all, I must say you're a very strong woman for passing through this and overcoming this. Also, for just standing up for yourself and your baby, and for going for therapy. Therapy in our country is something that we have overlooked. Sometimes culture, as a woman, I'm speaking from experience, what you've passed through, I passed through worse. It's a reason why I advocate for mental health in women, because I went through what you've gone through, even worse, and I felt so betrayed. And one thing I noticed is that therapy is not there. For us women, the world will tell you, Shipa mayo Shipa, you have to be strong. you can't cry. You have to stand up and do all the, and you have to stand up and defend yourself, be strong and all these things. But one thing society forgets, that we've got emotions, we've got feelings. You're just human. You need somebody to talk to. When it comes to relationship, the way your relationship failed, society tends to blame a woman. Sometimes, I'm sure when you're walking, others will say, Adi, I don't know if you understand Bemba, but anyway, but I'm Bemba. And I can't go to she's failed, marriage didn't take off, or she got pregnant, and so on and so forth. And that thing just like destroys us as women. I equally passed through the same breakup, if you can say it, something like that. I knew one man. I graduated. I knew him in 2009 when I just came back from high school. We went to Uza together. We graduated. I dated him for 10 years. I felt like I was groomed to marry this man. Everything was all rosy. We started working. I was working in Lusaka. He was working in Chinsali. Because of the way terms issues, I had to resign, because every time I went to church, women would call me, "Why are you here? Your husband is that side." You know the African setup and all that. So I had to stop my job, and went to Chinsali. When I went there, things like you said, things just changed. And we started having just issues, normal issues. We're just the two of us in the house, no dependent on all that. But pressure came from outside. To cut the long story short, this is not my platform, but one day I would love to share, though I've not really shared anywhere else. To cut the long story short, our marriage came to break, and I came back home. My husband went into serious depression. Like, he went into serious depression, and he was sick for 2 years, 6 months. Now you can imagine, this is somebody you've known for like the rest of your life. I felt like I was groomed to love this guy. And then when, at the breaking point, he was broken, and I needed to be there. His boss called me. Everybody was calling me, "Your husband is very sick. We're bringing him to UTH." And the insurance people called me. And then the mother just calls me and tells me, "I do not want you to be there. Do not go there. Your family members should not go there." It broke me. One, I felt so betrayed by the church, because, like I said, I was groomed to love one person. And we come from the same church. And we're both, my father is an elder in the church, his father is an elder in the church. So these are some of the things that I never expected from the family. I thought we would have disputes and we'll settle it, like the church set up and all that. When I received that call, I remember when I received that call, I was actually praying for him, because they were transporting him from Chinsali to UTH, and he was on oxygen. He used to have serious panic attacks. He would go to ICU 2-3 times. I'm sure you people, the medical personnel, you know that that's normal. That's not normal. Like where somebody could have panic attacks and would go to ICU 2-3 times in a day. So when they were transporting him, I decided to enter into a fast. Said, "Let me pray for this guy as he is coming." Just when I was praying, I received a call, and then my mother-in-law tells me that don't even make decisions, because these guys were calling me as his legal wife. I was making decisions, okay, take him to this hospital and all that. And he says, "Do not do this." That time when she called me, I was praying, and I was not moved. It didn't hurt me. I just continued praying, and I told my family members, "This is what has happened." And my dad said, "Okay, leave them." And he went on. He was sick. He stayed in Coptic for 2 months. He was moved to UTH. Later on, he had to go to the facility, Chinama and all that. It was something serious. And in that 2 years, I was not allowed to talk to him. I was not allowed to see him. And you can imagine the torture, the trauma that I went through Every time I wanted to see him, I would receive insult and so on and so forth. So eventually, I also fell sick. Like, I also went into depression. The other day, my mother and I were laughing about it. I could not finish a slice of bread. I wasn't even feeling hungry. I can stay the whole day without feeling hungry. I would just feel weak in my legs. Then I would have maybe a bit of Ziggy or it's Fanta. I used to take a lot of Fanta, and I'll be okay. You know, for someone who's 30, and my weight was like 29, 30, I was underweight, and I could not feel it. So in that process, I discovered a lot of things to say. Our society does not encourage therapy because there was no one really to counsel me or to talk to me or to talk to him. I had to hire a professional therapist. He didn't even know I had to hire a professional therapist to talk to him when he was in the hospital. But anyway, I forgot about myself because everybody was telling me, you have to be strong. You're a woman. A woman needs to be strong. You need to overcome this. There was no one to talk to sit me down and say, okay, what you're going through is too much. Until when I reached a breaking point. Like you said, I almost committed suicide after 3 years of all these circus and all that, taking in all sorts of insult and everything. One day I just woke up in the morning. I went to the kitchen. My mother and I love to dance. We love to listen to traditional songs and all that. So I went to the kitchen, and then my mother started singing a song. In the normal circumstances, I would have started dancing. But after looking at her, I felt so irritated. And then she said something. She said something like, previous day I went for a friend's birthday party, so I wore a dress, and then she thought I slept in that dress, and then she was like, this is the new dress, you slept in this dress. Just that word irritated me. So when she came to my bedroom, I just left her in the kitchen and went to the bedroom, and I started crying. All the pain, like everything that I had gone through for the past 4 years just came. I felt like a failure. I felt like I had wasted my life. You know, where you think, where am I going to start from? Everyone on campus knew that I was dating this guy. Like, the whole world knows that I'm married to this guy. Now, this marriage has crashed. I'm just young, with no child and everything. My job is gone. I lost everything, my dear. My business is gone. I'm sure some of you read about the Mukula business. I was doing that business in Chisali, and I made a profit. I did it for like 3 times, and I made a profit of 180, and I lost everything in one day. Like, my finances I didn't have anything. Now everything just came at that particular time, and I felt like committing suicide. So it was a Sunday. My family went to church. I remained alone. Now you can imagine I felt like I was in another world. I started breaking things. I got a knife. I wanted to stab myself. All sorts of things were going on in my mind. But at that particular time, because I knew God, for me, I say I healed first because I knew the word. Because I knew the word, the Holy Spirit whispered to me to say, call Mrs. Msonda. Call Mrs. Msonda. Mrs. Msonda is one of the ladies, elderly women in our church. So I quickly called her, and I was crying. So she said, Mommy, where are you? I was like, I'm at home. She said, come. I live in McKinney, and she lives in Jesmondin. Now look at the distance. If I drove myself, I would definitely going to crash, because the suicide voice at that particular time was stronger than the voice I was hearing that called me to call Mrs. Musonda. All I wanted was to kill myself. I blamed God to say, look, God, I kept myself. I got married as a virgin. My husband and I got married as virgins. And why this? There was no woman involved in our breakup, but there was a woman called my mother-in-law who is the elder's wife. All that to say, Lord, why would I be persecuted by fellow believers? I felt that God had betrayed me. I felt like I wasted my time. I looked back at my life on campus. I looked at some of my friends who were doing all sorts of things. They were well married, they have jobs, they are settled with children. So I started thinking, if I drive, Mrs. Musonda asked me, who's at home? I was like, I'm alone. Is there a car? I was like, yes. Are you able to come? I said yes. But when I wanted to drive, I was hearing a voice to say, just drive and hit yourself in the wall fence. Or you should just hit in the track as you are going. There's nothing to live for. So I quickly called my brother. My brother lives in Meanwood, Chainda. So I quickly called him. And I was crying. When all these things were happening, I didn't cry. There was no time for me to cry because every time I wanted to cry, somebody told me, you needed to be strong, you're a woman. Mm-hmm. So I was keeping quite a lot of things. I needed to go through therapy. I needed somebody to talk to, but there was no one. Everybody was telling me to be strong. I called my brother. So my brother looked at me because I was crying. He looked at the distance. Meanwood and McKinney, that's like with the traffic, maybe 1 hour, 8 minutes. So he quickly called Dad to say, go home and see what is happening to Sarah. So when my father came, oh my God, I would have killed my dad. Mm. I looked at him and said, you're the reason I'm going through all these things. You allowed me to get married to this guy because we thought he was a believer. And I had a knife. I almost stabbed him. But then he held me. When I dropped the knife, then a bit of sense came. So what did I want to do? So they quickly just tied me and threw me in the car and took me to Mrs. Musonda's place. She cancelled me, they cancelled me. So I cried for like 3-4 hours. I was just in my own world. After 3-4 hours, they managed to calm me down and then they talked to me and all that. But I never went through proper counseling where I could release everything and so on and so forth. But later on, at least the Lord allowed me to speak because I have a foundation. I can speak and things can come out. But what I can say is you did well to go through counseling, which was the first step. You did well, and whoever helped you, we thank God for that. And you're a very strong woman. Keep it up. I always tell young ladies to say, most of the times why we feel like men are taking advantage of us because we do not have the financial muscle. Improve yourself. If you need to go to school, go to school. If you need to do a business, do a business. Stand up for your child. Don't call him. Let him call you to see the child. And if you can manage, don't even ask for anything, because men feel when you have a child, they feel like they've tied you. You can always, she's always going to call me for diapers and all that. Improve yourself. Do a business. Proceed with your career. Move on. Men are there. Today I was talking to a certain friend who went through the same thing. She's getting married. She's getting married to somebody that she just dated for 4 months on social media. She's in Japan. The guy is here. He went to pay today. He went to pay his bride price in Chingola. The husband that broker had was charged 15,000 and he paid in 4 years. The guy that is marrying and that she's made for 4 months was charged 20,000, but he paid 45,000 cash. So men are there. You're a very pretty woman. I know I haven't seen you, but I know you're pretty than other men that will look at you later on. Focus, improve yourself, do whatever you can, do bath, work on your self-esteem. Never ever look down upon yourself. Never ever look down upon yourself, because when you have a low self-esteem, you will not go anywhere. Men will start now stepping on you. So one thing I did, I refused to cry in front of my enemies. Up to now, they are confused because they don't know whether I was affected or not. They keep saying she's not affected. She moves in church with heels as if nothing happened. Was I affected? I was affected deeply, but I never showed my weaknesses to them. So they are confused. They don't know what is going on. I went back to school. I started improving myself. I picked up myself. I started saving. I'm not yet where I was financially, but I'm getting there. So what I can say is at least you're able to talk about it, which is okay. You're healing. Because for me, I couldn't even talk about it. I would be crying. But I listened to you. You're confident, which means you're healing. And please keep it up. Improve yourself and move on. Men are there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for that wonderful addition to the discussion. We've been able to learn something from your experience as well. We appreciate you being open and sharing with everybody else on this platform. We have just 3 minutes to go. Any additional questions or contributions? Mukakempe, you can go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to say that I really appreciate the people that have opened up to say these stories. It's really encouraging for us, the younger girls, to hear that people are experiencing these things and they are managing to overcome them. If it's okay to cry, but what if, like, when you want to cry, you start thinking of, like, I don't want to dwell, because if I start crying over this person, it will mean that they have so much control over my life, and like I'm unable to move on them. They've already moved on. So how would you help someone who's still hating them, but you shouldn't, because then the other person is obviously not feeling like that. Yes.
I think the crying we're talking about here, not crying because you want him back. You're crying because you need to let go of the pain. Because if you do not cry, you're likely to have a break. You can go into serious mental health like I did, like I just explained. I did not cry for 2 years plus. I was just taking in things. That's why I went to those extremes. So when you feel like crying, you can go in your bedroom. Just don't cry in front of the guy and make it feel like, yeah, it's controlling. You can go inside your bedroom and let it out. If you're a believer, let it out. Pray about it. And the Lord will help you. Thank you.
Thank you for answering the question. I appreciate your contribution, and yeah, it is true that we must be able to cry and express our emotions. If we just keep them within ourselves, we don't express them, it will actually, in fact, that's the same issue with men as well. That's why we also have another group for men as well. Men also are always told, no, be a man, be strong, and they can't really be able to express their emotions, and eventually they do the worst to harm themselves. And normally men go ahead and do the worst things to harm themselves. So it's important to cry, to shed your tears, but once you've cried, you need to give it. Don't cry the whole day. You need to give yourself specific time. So I'm going to cry for this amount of time. After I cry, I'm going to wipe my tears and hold my head up high, and I'll move ahead and journey on. You won't suppress those emotions, but you allow them to come out, and you'll be able to heal better that way. We'll take the last hand, Kathy.
All right, thank Thank you very much. I really appreciate for the people that have opened up. It's really encouraging as one of the people that said something, saying that us as young people, we are learning from this, and it's very important. So, like, one thing I would just say concerning heartbreak, most of the things that would help people when they are passing through heartbreak is finding time to themselves, like taking care of themselves, finding coping mechanisms that can help them out, like not because most people resort to drinking, drug addiction, but the most important thing that people can do is maybe try to involve themselves in sports, something that is productive than doing things that are not productive at all. And then the other thing is try to reflect on your life. Try to reflect and also try to see and focus on the future. And also find hobbies that are interesting for you. What is something that you enjoy doing rather than just thinking about the heartbreak? Obviously, it hurts, but the most important thing to forget about a heartbreak is find something that you love doing. Yeah, so that's something that I have done for myself and the things that I've seen for most young people. Yeah, so that's what I think. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Kathy. That's really, really important and cannot be overemphasized. We must definitely involve ourselves in things that we love. And you actually will not feel that way because when you have a heartbreak, you're very prone to things like depression. You will feel like just isolating yourself, staying indoors the whole time. You won't want to associate with your friends anymore. Your friends will be calling you, but you're just going to be canceling the invitations. But you need to force yourself to do something out there. Even Stella, as we've been working together, she's been very deliberate about meeting up with friends, going out there, interacting with people. And as you engage with people who love you, who care about you, you start to feel lighter and time will heal all wounds. So thank you so much for that contribution. Stella, would you have any closing words for us, even as we come to the end of our program?
Okay. I would like to thank all those who've opened up. Madam Sarah, thank you for the words of encouragement. Definitely, I personally have learned one or two things from your story, and also for those that had some contributions to share, thank you also for your contributions. Just like we have been emphasizing throughout the discussion, let's open up, let's surround ourselves with people who love us. If you need to go out, if you feel down and you feel like you need to go out with your friends, go and have fun. And whatever it is that you're passing through is not the end of the world. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. So I think this marks the end of our meeting today. I really enjoyed myself. Hope you guys did too. And we shall have another meeting next Sunday, same time, same place. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody, for coming.